Hello fellow Guardians, these are the Mega Construx Destiny Series 1 individual figure packs. These are less than the armory packs that they did in their first year. Less parts, but also less in price. Just one figure and one weapon each. The first one we're going to look at is the Endling Warlock. Of course, because Warlock Master Race. I'm kidding, it's just the first one that I happened to put in the line there. Obviously, these are named by the armor set, so this is Endling from Dead Orbit. Has a bunch of that weird kind of day-old street bubblegum camo looking color that's on there. I never got that myself. I never understood it. I knew that Bungie was trying to bring some color into the Dead Orbit scheme, which I understood and I appreciated that effort, but that just didn't work for me. If there are any Dead Orbit fans out there, let me know what you thought about those colors they tried to bring in. Obviously, the weapon here is Monte Carlo, and it is molded in the pearl gold color with paint applications of the dark gunmetal gray. So that's the royal flush ornament that they put on there. That looks beautiful. Very well done. Very crisp with the paint apps on it from multiple angles. Yeah, very nice. Only thing that's a little bit off. Oh, I also appreciate getting a non-white ghost there. But the only thing I don't like here is that I think they missed a little bit in the consistency of application of the shader. That what I call street bubblegum camo look, I believe went all the way up the robe with the default shader for this. So it should have gone into the chest. Maybe it's supposed to be more on the sides where you're seeing undersuit on this figure as it's built, so maybe that's why they didn't get it in there. But a little bit of a hint of it on the side of the upper armor piece, I think, would have been a good idea. The bond looks pretty good. It's a really small little stamp on there. I appreciate the lines that are printed on the forearm there as well. And notice that the gloves are a bright white, whereas this is an off-white. It's actually a very light gray for the lower legs, or the boots in this case. Every one of these figures has one of these small Destiny tricorn logo stands. Unfortunately, you do get that on there on one side, which doesn't look good, but this is a nice compact size to just handle a single figure. Here's the Lion's Vigil Hunter for all the PvP gods out there. This one, in my opinion, as a figure, just blows that Warlock completely out of the water in terms of its production value and quality. Really, really nicely done paint applications on this one. Good choices of color, I think. The weapon there is a hand cannon. I had to look it up. It's called Kumakatak HC4. It's one that I never touched in game, so I can't say anything about it whatsoever. Look at the lines on the side of the cloak there, of the hood portion of it. That's really, really nice. It's very crisp. It also got the little ears there, and the cat on the back is beautiful. It's really well printed. They've come so far in what they can do with their paint applications, with their stamps. I mean, this is a soft piece. This is silicone rubber, or maybe not silicone, but silicone-esque, feeling kind of rubber. It's difficult to get those registered, I would think, but that's nicely done. The lines going around the other side are equally good. The shoulder kind of pauldron and just shoulder armor piece, I guess, there is nicely molded. It's a little bit difficult to see the detail in it with just this color. It's not really anybody's fault. And the head has a bunch of paint applications on it, and it looks really good. It has that one little fleck of gold that needs to be scraped off in the upper right corner as you look at it, but man, those eyes are done really well. This is good. I like it. I guess the only thing I don't like here, or I think that is a little bit off, is the difference in gold colors between the paint that they use down here, which is well matched to the actual plastic that they use for these two pieces, and it's the same paint is used on the head, but then this gold here is just a little bit different. It's not as bright, and it's less saturated. Here's the Kallipolis Hunter for folks who have been brainwashed by Executor Hideo. That guy. I don't know, man. That guy. Well, this is a nice looking figure in most ways, but one thing is really off about it to me. That's the translucency of that particular red plastic that they use for many of the pieces here. It just looks too toyish to me. It's one of those that almost needs a wash just to work. It looks pretty good from a distance, but especially looking down at the legs and the lower legs, it's just too toyish to me. It just looks too much like candy, like maybe a prototype or something, which is too bad. The colors are sharp. The molds are good. Obviously, this is the female archetype for the body, so the hips, the upper armor piece, the torso, and also the lower legs are all thinned down, and that's, I think, executed really, really well here. The paint applications are good. Very, very fine, very well applied on this all around. I'm assuming that's supposed to be the Vanquisher 8 auto rifle, was it? Yeah. Needs some black. It needs some black in the worst way. That was actually a good auto rifle. I got that fairly early on after it became available, and enjoyed it quite a fair amount. Although auto rifles, only had their place in certain eras, but yeah, a pretty well done figure. Just really, to me, really held back by the finish of that plastic and its way that it interacts with light. It actually brings some light into it. And that brings us to this Raku Warlock, because Warlock Master Race. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm going to talk about this figure now. This one is very striking, obviously, with its color scheme. It does suffer a little bit from the excessive toyishness of material, with the really bright orange-colored lower legs and lower arms. It's not quite as bad, in my opinion, as on the Kallipolis Hunter, just because there's less of it here. And also they do have the paint application for the laces on the boots, and they have an equally bright colored orange that's used for the paint applications on the helmet and the front of the robes. The application on the helmet is not quite as bright, not quite as opaque, unfortunately. Didn't go down as thick. I think it's a slightly different type of paint, actually, that's used for those two different types. I think those are two different types of material. I might be mistaken on that. But overall, yeah, just very striking looking. A lot of it is done pretty well. Hello, Kvostov, my old friend. That was a fun weapon. Jack of all trades. Master of none, in my opinion, but still really fun. Had a nice quest to get it as well. This has the... this has the last warming ornament on it, or so says the Mega website. Last warming, which is obviously just either a typo or an autocorrect mistake. It's the last warmind. Happens to all of us at some point, but just a funny little thing. It's a good ornament to choose. Definitely, either of the ornaments would take it away from the kind of 20th century appearance of the default look of the thing. But what I liked personally most about Last Warmind was the little bit of bronze that they had. I forget exactly where it was, but it was very subtle. Just on the upper part of the forward section of the receiver, I believe there was some bronze in there, and that's missing. So this ends up looking a little bit like just a dead orbit kind of color scheme to me. But it's not bad. I'm just pointing out something that maybe could have been better, maybe, but it's definitely not bad. Nice mold, of course. Very crisp lines on there. Take a look at this thing from the back. Yes, they got more of the paint applications back here as well. So pretty good. There are some spots where you can see the paint didn't quite get into the deeper ridges, which is unfortunate, but you do have to be up closer like this, I think, to really notice that. I got the paint apps on the bond there as well. Overall, pretty good looking figure. I think that this would pose really nicely with that 1/6 scale Destiny figure collectible thing that was done. It wasn't this exact armor, but had the Lunar Elegy shader on it, so very, very compatible appearances between the two. So this is the Jovian Guard Titan here, and holy heck, this is next level. Look at the chest. Look at the black lines. Look at the little emblem there. The fineness, the crispness of the lines, of the little dots down at the bottom right. Look at the pauldron. Look at that. Man, it's such good stuff. And even on the lower arm, look at the lower arm. The lower arm itself is done in a dark blue color, and then it has a paint application on top of that, just for that little stripe of the metallic, slightly more cyanish color of blue. The lower legs have paint applications on them. I mean, the helmet looks really good. The helmet is the least crisp looking thing, but it's still really good. This completely caught me off guard as I took it out of the package, because just from a distance I was expecting this to be kind of meh, you know, just kind of blah. It wasn't striking compared to most of the other ones in this series, but maybe it's the best out of them. I haven't gotten to the last one yet, still in package, but look at the mark. I mean, this is really, really good stuff. For a mass-produced $5 toy, are you kidding me? This is almost too good. I mean, maybe you disagree. Feel free to disagree in the comments, but I'm just telling you honestly how I feel about this. I feel like this is almost too good for the price and for the production quantity for this thing. Wow. The weapon there is obviously the Supercell. I'm not even going to bother saying the first name of it because too many people are just horrible when it comes to slight variations in pronunciation. We don't need that. So you know what weapon it is. The Supercell, and it has the shock hazard ornament on it, which is the exact same one that I used in game for so many weeks of those strikes when they kept putting arc burn on again and again and again, and everybody just used this weapon. It was quick to get XP and such, but man, it was kind of boring. Given that strikes were my favorite thing at that time, but good to get the weapon. It's pretty well done. Good paint applications on it, but the figure on the whole is fantastic. Last up here is the Vanguard Titan. Congratulations to you if you made it to this point. It's the end of the line. And this one is not quite as good in production quality as that last one, as the Jovian Guard. So that one gets to hold on to the title of best, in my personal opinion. This is not bad. I'm not feeling let down by it at all. It's just not quite as good. Yeah, pretty well done. The material, or the color, the main color there, if it's not coming through on camera that well, is slightly bluish. It's metallic, slightly iridescent. It's almost like an iridescent, desaturated, and devalued powder blue with some flake in it as well. An interesting color. The paint applications done on it are pretty good though. They go all the way around, and yeah, not bad. I feel like the visor, the green, I don't know, maybe that should have been brighter, should have had some gold or yellow metallic flake. It does have some metallic flake in it. I haven't looked at it too closely to see which color it is, but I think it could have been a little bit brighter. You know, could have stood out a little bit more. I think that would have helped things quite a bit. But yeah, overall done pretty well. This has the Down and Doubt hand cannon. That is one that I did try, although I was not a hand cannon person, so again, really can't speak much about that. But yeah, pretty well done figure. Just the colors feel a little bit muted to me and don't have enough difference between them, especially where they are applied over the chest armor and on the helmet. Just my personal opinion. But the shapes are good, and some of these pieces are definitely still useful for Destiny 2 customs, you know. That's a strong group shot right there. Wow. Yeah, it really helps to put things into perspective when you put multiple of them into the same place at the same time. I mean, you think back just a handful of years ago, you never would have imagined that we would be able to get action figures this small, with this much detail, with this many changeable, removable pieces, with this many points of articulation, with this many paint applications, with this many individual molds on a mass production basis for $5 a pop. It would have been, you would have been laughed at if you suggested it. I think that Mega has really accomplished something special here in the industry with what they've done with their figures, and the Destiny line in particular. I feel like it is the best, or is the best kind of demonstration of what they can do. Yeah, like I say, just next level stuff. Some better than others, but all at the very least good. Some of them great. Really happy to be able to get these. Feel very, very fortunate to be living in this day and age, just in terms of the small little world of small collectible action figures. Good stuff. If you have any comments about any of these in particular, or all of them in general, feel free to leave them down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.